Good day, one and all. Welcome back to Kerbal Space Program with Lady Top Hat. In the first two episodes, I showed you two of the tutorial missions, and I would like to continue with that with Orbiting 101. There are some important things to learn there. This training scenario covers the basics of flying a spacecraft in orbit. Essential maneuvers like raising and lowering apoapsis and periapsis nodes, and also important concepts such as what the terms apoapsis and periapsis mean. You'll start off in a low circular orbit around Kerbin with the Orbiter 1 training craft ready to go. So, let's start. Now this is where we would have been, or the situation we would have been at the end of the last training mission had it worked. And I spent so many times trying to get that to work that I got frustrated and stopped. Anyway, this is what the orbit looks like. So the blue line just becomes a closed circle around the planet. Right. Orbiting 101. Welcome to the Orbiting 101 training program. I'm Jean Kerman, and I'm going to teach you the basics of orbiting. I assume you've already done the basic flight tutorials and are now ready to learn how to get around in space. If you haven't done them, well, I hope you know what you're doing. Let's get started. Orbiting 101 basics. Orbiting is really nothing more than free falling. Correct. The only thing is that as you fall, you're moving so fast forward you actually miss the ground, because up here there is no atmosphere to slow you down. You will continue to freefall endlessly around the planet without having to use your engines. We are currently on a low, almost circular orbit around Kerbin. To get a better view of your situation, press the M key to go into the map view. I just did that. There we are. La 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 la. That's us. Beautiful. Okay. This is the map view. Here you can see your ship's position and its current trajectory around the planet. Now you see, he's now explaining better the map view than in the previous tutorial, this is why I'm not so keen on these tutorial missions. Okay. Hold right click and move the mouse to look around to see your orbit from various angles. Also, hovering over the icons on the map will display more information about them. Close the map when you're ready. So there we go. Orbiter 1A, there's its velocity and its altitude. Here's the Kerbin apoapsis and Kerbin periapsis. We can also click on the crew, bring up a little bit of information about them there, information about the ship, our fuel. These are missions that we're not in that mode just yet. We have our time and a way to speed up time, staging, certainly not there yet, and docking, and orbit map. Yes, so that's where we are. Okay, let's go back. That's what he wanted us to do. Good, let's get practical now. I trust you already know your basic spacecraft controls. Yes, we do. We learnt them in the last episode. Up here, they're very much the same. Yes, but the lack of atmosphere makes the ship behave quite a bit differently. Okay. Right, we're going to try and get the ship back under control. If we find ourselves out of control, hit T to toggle the SAS. Yes, I'm ready. Okay, so he's put us into a spin. Right, stop rotation using pitch, yaw, and roll. Now I'm going to keep an eye on this speed thing here. And what I'm going to do is begin by just playing with one axis and get that under control. Let's see, did that increase or decrease our speed? That didn't really do much. That slowed us down a little bit. Myself here. Ha ha, nicely done, he says. There we go. Attitude control is an essential skill for a spacecraft pilot. Master it and you'll be well on your way to becoming an expert pilot. You can try this again. No, I'm ready to move on. There we go. Ready! Okay, let's have a look at the nav ball now. You've probably seen the symbols on it when you were spinning around. Here's what they mean. So, green? I think that should be yellow. Prograde and retrograde vectors. They point towards and away from your velocity vector, respectively. That is, it points to and away from where you're going. Blue, radial in and out vectors. They point towards and away from the currently orbited body. Pink triangles. Normal and anti-normal vectors. They are perpendicular to the orbital plane. They point upwards and downwards with respect to the orbital plane, respectively. Okay, now let's try something a little more involved. Open your map again. Okay, what we want to do now is go through some of the basic maneuvers you'll need to know. Let's try raising your apoapsis first. The apoapsis is the highest point in an orbit, and it's indicated by the node marked AP. Hello, AP is here. The best place to raise your apoapsis is at the periapsis, which is the lowest point of your orbit. If you hover the mouse over periapsis, you'll see that we're going to reach it in a few minutes. T-minus 35 minutes. Once there, we'll face prograde and burn. Press a full stop to speed up time a little so we can get there faster. That. Okay, round we go. Let's speed it up a bit more. 50 times. Okay. Okay. A few seconds away. Time to turn prograde and do your burn. However, instead of closing the map, let's just bring up the nav ball here. Which I do by doing that. And time to do the burn. So turn the ship to face the prograde vector now. Let's find out where the prograde vector is. Thrusting until your apoapsis altitude reaches about 800,000 meters. Ready to kill those engines. This is how you raise your apoapsis node. With orbital maneuvers, pretty much everything you do will affect the opposite side of your orbit. So to raise the highest point, apoapsis, you thrust forward, or prograde at the lowest point, periapsis. Similarly, to raise your periapsis, you thrust prograde at the apoapsis. We're on our way to the apoapsis now, so let's do just that. Press next when ready, and I'll warp time to get us there quickly. Okay, we're on our way to the apoapsis node. And we're going to lose speed as we rise. There's our orbital velocity. The higher you are, the slower your orbit will be. Notice how the moon's orbital speed is around 540, while yours is far higher. When we reach apoapsis, we will burn prograde again to raise the periapsis node and circularize our orbit. Now, is he going to stop us, or do I need to stop us? Okay, here we are. Same as before. Turn your ship to face prograde. Mind that we're probably turned the other way right now, so the prograde vector might not be visible. Okay, let's find it. There it is. Okey-doke. Right, let's fire. Watch the periapsis rising. Keep burning until the orbit is nearly circular. Eccentricity will be 0 when it's perfectly circular. Nicely done! This is how you change the size of your orbit. This manoeuvre should come in handy on many situations. For now, I bid you a fond farewell and a tally-ho!